Welcome back. Two former ministers standing trial on allegations of fraud have formally challenged their trial before a federal high court sitting in Lagos. They want their case file to be sent to the chief judge for reassignment to another judge, preferably one in the Abuja division of the courts. In this next report, we take a closer look at the twists and turns in this developing story. The former aviation minister, Mr. Femi Fani-Kayode, and a former Minister of Finance, Nenadi Usman, are standing trial before a federal high court sitting in Lagos. Alongside the former national chairman of the Association of Local Government of Nigeria, Mr. Yusuf Danjuma, and a company said to belong to him, Joint Trust Dimensions Nigeria Limited, all four are facing a 17-count charge of allegedly laundering about 4.9 billion naira, charges to which they have pleaded not guilty. The defendants also have issues with the powers of the court to try them. Mr. Fani-Kayode, through his lawyer, Mr. Norris Quakers SAN, asked Justice Muslim Hassan to hands off his case. The former aviation minister, who served as the director of media of the PDP presidential campaign, claims that there is a likelihood of bias. Now, it is a well-known fact that before his appointment as a judge of the Federal High Court, Justice Hassan worked as the head of the Legal and Prosecution Unit of the EFCC. In that capacity, Mr. Quaker says he signed a money laundering charge for which his client was prosecuted, acquitted and discharged before Justice Rita Ophelia Jumagobia.
For us, these are issues that strike at the jurisdiction of the court, that the court must be constituted to guarantee impartiality or neutrality, that this particular court, in view of these facts at our disposal, is not constituted to guarantee neutrality. That's one level. The other level again is on venue, that the facts leading to the charge occurred in Abuja. The extraction of evidence also occurred in Abuja. Investigation was also conducted in Abuja.
The counsel wants the judge to send the case file back to the chief judge for reassignment to another judge of the court, preferably one in the Abuja division. Counsel to the ESC, Rotimi Oyedepo, has however opposed this application. He says that certain key ingredients of the present charge occurred in Lagos, and 13 of 17 prosecution witnesses are also in Lagos. On the likelihood of bias, he submits that the only evidence put forward as proof is a 2007 charge against Mr. Fani-Kayode, which was prepared and prosecuted by the law firm of Festus Keyamo and not the judge.
Can it be said that a charge that was filed in respect of which this second defendant was discharged and acquitted will be the basis of exhibiting likelihood of bias by the trial judge? I do not agree with that proposition. Court had cause to, query prosecution's steps arresting this same defendant in Lagos division in respect of another offense in Abuja. So all this honorable court demonstrated to show that there is fairness and fair hearing to all parties.
The other defendants have also made a case for the transfer of the matter to Abuja. Mrs. Nenadi Usman also wants the court to release her passport so she can travel abroad for medical treatments. All these issues have to be determined one way or the other if this case must continue. Justice Muslim Hassan has therefore fixed the 16th of March for his ruling. And just before we go, let's quickly do a recap of some other top trending legal stories.
We begin with the report that the Senate on Wednesday, the 1st of March, confirmed the appointment of Justice Walter Onnoghen as the Chief Justice of Nigeria. At the screening by a committee of the whole Senate, which lasted over an hour, Justice Onnoghen answered various questions raised by the lawmakers on the nation's judiciary. He assured the Senate and Nigerians that under his watch, the judiciary will continue to record tremendous improvement. After the Senate's confirmation, the President is expected to swear in Justice Onnoghen as the substantive CJN. This will make him the first person from the southern part of the country to occupy the office in the last 30 years. Justice Walter Onnoghen is from Cross River State. He was called to the Nigerian bar 38 years ago and was appointed a judge of the Cross River State Judiciary in 1989. In 1998, he was elevated to the Court of Appeal, where he spent 7 years. In 2005, he became a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Justice Walter Onoyan will end his career on the bench when he clocks 70 in 2020. And from there, we'll move on to the report that the Nigeria Bar Association, Ife Branch, Osun, on Tuesday the 28th of February, embarked on an indefinite boycott of courts in the state to protest the hike in filing fees. Carrying placards bearing different inscriptions, the lawyers blocked the court gate and prevented litigants and others from gaining access to the courtrooms. The NBA chairman in Ile-Ife, Mr. Murtala Agbola, said that the boycott of courts by the lawyers was to express their displeasure at the hike in filing fees, which was capable of denting access to justice for all. The state NBA also said it will not accept a situation where the government, without its consent, increased the filing fees of some court processes from 5,000 naira to as high as 40,000 naira. Apart from Ile-Ife, where there was a boycott, the court sat for business in other states across the country. In Abuja, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, filed a 3-count charge of conspiracy and corruption against 2 multinational oil firms, Shell and Eni, for their roles in the alleged Malibu $1.1 billion scandal. 9 others were also charged alongside the oil majors before the FCT High Court. Those charged alongside Shell and Eni include a former Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Mohammed Adoke, and a former Minister of Petroleum, Dan Etete, as well as the businessman Aliyu Abubakar. In one of the charges, Dan Etete, Mohammed Bello Adoke, Aliyu Abubakar and Malibu Oil and Gas were alleged to have corruptly received the sum of $801 million in respect of OPL 245 from Shell Nigeria, Nigeria Ajep Exploration Limited, and Eni SPA. The charges are said to be part of an international collaboration to ensure that all those who partook in the alleged $1.1 billion OPL 245 scandal are brought to justice. Staying in Abuja, a federal high court on Wednesday, the 1st of March, struck out 6 of the 11 charges instituted against the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, and other persons. Justice Binta Nyako struck out the charges as she upheld part of the preliminary objections filed by 3 of the 4 defendants in her ruling on Wednesday. According to the judge, the struck-out charges did not call for trial due to lack of evidence in the proof of evidence filed by the prosecution. The defendants were on November 8, 2016, rearranged before Justice Binta Nyako on amended 11 counts conspiring terrorism, treasonable felony, managing an unlawful society, publication of defamatory matters, illegal possession of firearms, and improper importation of goods. And we round off with the report that the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has declared that every Nigerian child has the constitutional right to free and compulsory primary education and free junior secondary education. The court, presided over by Justice John Toho, also declared that the federal and state governments have constitutional duties to provide adequate fund for it. The court also held that any failure by any government to fund free primary and junior secondary education will constitute a breach of the Constitution. The judgment was delivered in a suit filed by the Legal Defense and Assistance Project, LADEP, against the Federal Ministry of Education and the Attorney General of the Federation. The lead counsel to LADEP, Mr. Chino Obiagu, says that the court has by this judgment given life and hope to over 28 million Nigerian children who are currently out of primary and junior secondary school or who are at risk of being withdrawn from school because of their inability by their parents or guardians to pay the tuition fees and school expenses, or who are withdrawn from school so that they can be given out in early marriage or be sent to street hawk or beg for alms.
And that's the program for today. Please send in any questions or comments about the program and indeed any area of the law. You can watch this episode again or even past ones on our YouTube channel. I'm Shola Shiyeli. Thank you for watching.